Fear is the tool of a man-made devil. Self-confidence is both the cause and the effect of definiteness of purpose. There is a moment in every life where the silence gets too loud, where the noise of the world, the doubt, the fear, the deadlines, the judgment, all of it crashes down like a tidal wave. And in that moment, you are given a question, not by man, not by algorithm, not by chance, but by something higher. Do you know who lives within you? Because if you did, truly did, you would never again bow to fear. You would never again settle for average. You would never again speak to yourself like you're anything less than royalty cloaked in mortal skin. But most people forget. They forget that greatness is not something we chase out there. It's something we awaken in here, in the depths of the soul where God whispers, "You are mine. Now rise." You've been told to fake it till you make it. That's a lie, because the truth is, you are it already. The spark of divinity was placed in you the moment you drew your first breath. It didn't arrive with your job title. It wasn't written into your resume. It existed before you were named, before you were praised, before you were rejected. Napoleon Hill called it infinite intelligence. The force that whispers ideas to inventors, moves the hands of artists, and fuels the fire of visionaries. Carnegie listened to it. Ford trusted it. Edison depended on it. And Hill proved one thing above all else. The ones who succeed on a scale that rewrites history are the ones who act as if God is within them. Every single day. And you have that same power. Not in some distant tomorrow, but now. But here's the catch. That divine force, it does not move in hesitation. It does not follow the timid. It does not reward the ones who wait for permission. It flows through the bold. It answers those who act in faith, not fear. Because faith is not weak belief. It is strength made visible. It is divine alignment expressed through courage. So train your mind, not to think small, but to echo the mind of God, not to play the game of survival, but to expand like creation itself. Stop looking for signs outside. You are the sign. You are the confirmation. The call was placed inside you. And the greatest tragedy is not dying. It's living your entire life never answering that call. You think you need more money? More followers? More time? No. You need more awareness of who you already are. This world will not wait for you to feel ready. Destiny doesn't knock. It demands. And the only key that opens its door is conviction forged in clarity. The richest men in history weren't the smartest in the room. They were the most aligned. Their minds were tuned like antennas to something higher. They didn't just visualize success. They assumed the identity of it. They walked as if the outcome was already finished. They didn't hope. They knew. When Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right," he wasn't being clever. He was telling you, your reality obeys your belief. Your world bends not to effort, but to expectation. Speak as if God lives in your lungs. Walk as if he strides in your steps. Think as if his mind pulses in your thoughts. Because if God is within you, then limitation is a lie. But the moment you question it, the moment you hesitate, the moment you shrink your dream to fit your environment instead of expanding your environment to match your dream, the power retreats. Not because it's gone, but because you've chosen doubt over divinity. You were not made to be safe. You were not made to blend in. You were made to lead, to light fires in cold rooms, to lift heads in dark places, to bring the kingdom into every boardroom, studio, classroom, and kitchen. The power was never meant to stay locked in temples. It was meant to live in you. You say you're tired, but what if you're not tired from effort? What if you're tired from fighting the truth of who you are? When a lion is caged, it loses its roar. When a soul is suppressed, it loses its fire. But let it out, let it believe again, and it becomes unstoppable. So start walking like every step is sacred. Start speaking like heaven is behind every word. Start thinking like the author of the universe is scripting your day. Because he is. But he won't move unless you do. God does not drive parked cars. Faith is the ignition. Desire is the fuel. Discipline is the road. And purpose is the map written in your bones. You don't need to find it. You need to remember it. You are not random. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are called. That anxiety you feel? That ache for something more? That's not a problem. That's divine unrest. That's heaven knocking. That's your potential refusing to die quietly. Do not silence it. Let it roar. When Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination, he built an empire of fantasy. When Abraham Lincoln failed election after election, he became the most revered president of American history. When Thomas Edison was called addled and thrown out of school, he lit up the entire world. Why? Because they didn't see themselves through the eyes of men. They saw themselves through the lens of purpose, through the mirror of divinity, and that mirror lives inside you. So stop asking for signs. Stop begging for validation. Stop waiting for perfect timing. You were born at the right time, and now is your moment to move. Do not confuse humility with hesitation. The meek shall inherit the earth, yes, but not because they stayed small. True humility is not hiding your fire. It's knowing your fire was never yours alone. It was given, entrusted, assigned. So use it. Use your voice to command your morning like the sun itself rises to salute you. Use your hands to build visions no eye has seen. Use your pain as prophecy, because God does not waste suffering. Every wound you've endured carries a lesson, and every lesson becomes a weapon when wielded with wisdom. You were not meant to crawl through life avoiding risk. You were meant to fly so high that fear forgets your name, and if you fall, fall forward, because even failure, when aligned with purpose, is not loss. It is redirection. It is refinement. It is the chisel shaping you into who you were always meant to be. Napoleon Hill said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But that seed doesn't grow unless you plant it in belief, unless you water it with boldness, unless you step into the fire with your head held high, knowing that the flames can't consume what was forged in heaven." Let the world call you unrealistic. Let them say you're too intense, too confident, too spiritual. Let them call you delusional, because the world is run by those once labeled exactly that. You don't need their approval. You need alignment. You need mornings where your first thought is not your to-do list, but your to-be list. Who must I become to match the vision I carry? Who must I shed to stop blocking the light already inside me? Don't ask for a lighter load. Build a stronger back. That strength is not physical. It's spiritual. It's mental. It's the type of resilience that comes from knowing, I do not walk alone. The same God who split seas, who raised the broken, who whispered stars into their place, walks with me. That changes everything. You don't negotiate with life when you know who you walk with. You declare, you move. You expect favor not because you're entitled, but because you're entrusted. That's the mindset of divine alignment, not arrogance. Authority. You were created in the image of a creator, not a consumer. That means your power doesn't lie in what you get, but in what you give, what you build, what you imagine into existence through faith and work. The world wants to distract you. It wants you scrolling, comparing, wasting your hours in mental fog, because a distracted mind is a powerless mind. And a powerless mind never questions the system, never disrupts, never awakens. But you are here because you feel it. You feel that tension in your chest, the pull towards something higher. That is not coincidence. That is calling. And the longer you deny it, the louder life will scream through dissatisfaction. So say yes. Yes to the discomfort of growth. Yes to the disciplines that look boring, but birth greatness. Yes to the hard conversations, the midnight grind, the silence that teaches you who you are when no one's watching. Say yes to inconvenience, because destiny never arrives conveniently. And above all, say yes to the voice within. The voice that tells you to stand when everything in you wants to sit. To forgive when pride says stay angry. To create when doubt says, who do you think you are? Because that voice, that whisper, is not yours. It is God within you, reminding you, you were never ordinary. You were born to reflect the divine in a world that's forgotten what that even means. So walk with purpose. Not perfection. Purpose. Let your flaws become fuel. Let your scars become symbols. Let your weakness become worship. Because the power within you is not diminished by your humanity. It is amplified by your surrender. You don't need to be fearless. You need to move despite the fear, knowing that courage is not the absence of fear, it's the defiance of it. And defiance becomes destiny when powered by faith. So act as if God is within you, because He is, in your breath, in your mind, in your next decision. Speak like heaven is listening. Build like eternity is watching. Live like your life is a sermon, because it is. And every day, every choice, every word is either preaching power or preaching weakness. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to remind the world of what heaven looks like in motion. So go. Step forward, speak boldly, forgive quickly, dream wildly, love deeply, build relentlessly. This isn't hype. This isn't fluff. This is a charge. This is a divine call to remember who you are. Not someday, not when it's convenient, not when it's safe. Now. Because the world doesn't need more content. It needs more conviction. It doesn't need more noise. It needs more voices of truth echoing with the power of the one who breathed galaxies into being. And that same breath is in you. So act like it. Every great movement in history started not with an army, but with one person who believed they were chosen. One person who stopped asking the world for permission. One person who looked in the mirror and stopped seeing flesh and failure, and started seeing fire and favor. You are that person now. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are being positioned. Everything you've walked through, the loss, the heartbreak, the silence, the years in the shadows, it was never punishment. It was preparation. Heaven hides its champions for a season, not to bury them, but to build them. Because when you walk into your calling, when you step into the world as one who carries the presence of God, you do not walk like others. You do not speak like others. You do not love, serve, or build like others. You carry a weight the world has forgotten. And the moment you unleash it, everything changes. The room changes. The energy shifts. The atmosphere submits. Because light doesn't argue with darkness. It overcomes it. You don't need to announce who you are. Walk in it. Own it. Let your presence preach what your words can't. Let your results reveal what your critics can't comprehend. Act as if God is within you, because when you do, your life stops becoming a reaction and starts becoming a revelation. You don't flinch when the storm comes. You command it. You don't shrink in rooms of power. You fill them. You don't wait for blessings. You become a blessing. This is what divine power looks like in motion. Not lightning from the sky, but consistency in the fire. Obedience in the grind. Unshakable belief in the unknown. It's the quiet decision no one sees. The standards no one forces. The disciplines no one applauds. That's divine power. It's not loud, but it is undeniable. And it grows, day by day, thought by thought, decision by decision, until one day, your life looks nothing like the one you settled for, because you stopped settling, you stopped surviving, you stopped shrinking, and you started stepping into identity, stepping into purpose, stepping into that holy place where nothing about you is random and everything about you is revelation. So don't you dare apologize for your power. Don't you dare dim your light to make others comfortable in their doubt. Don't you dare shrink your dreams to match your current resources. Resources do not build vision. Vision attracts resources. Heaven funds what it authors. And if the dream came from God, you better believe the provision is coming with it. So stay planted in purpose. Stay rooted in truth. Keep your eyes on the promise, not the pressure. And when the world tells you to play small, play safe, be realistic. Remember, you weren't born for realism. You were born for revelation. You were born to show the world what happens when a human dares to act like God lives within them. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. This isn't ego. It's embodiment. You are a vessel, a carrier of glory. And when you believe that, when you act on that, mountains move, chains break, history bends, and nations change. You want to change your life? Start with how you walk into a room. Start with how you speak to your reflection. Start with how you treat your time, your work, your voice. Because God didn't choose you to play small. He chose you to stand tall, walk bold, and carry light where there is none. This is the call. This is the moment. And this is the mindset. Act as if God is within you, because He is. Now go, live like it.